It's a very great pleasure for the University of Udine to have His Excellency Alan French, Gregory, the ambassador of Australia, Albania, and the acting ambassador of Libya and San Marino as a guest here today. He just delivered a very, very interesting lecture today to the student of foreign languages entitled Promoting the Rule of Law, Reflections of an International Legal Advisor. And I think this is a very important topic for a university like ours, which is moving forward to a big leap into internationalization. So I would like you to welcome with us Greg French. And what did you think of the interest of our student today? And I know there is an important focus on translating cultures in your activity. Can you maybe tell us something about this?
Well, thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to be here. È un grande piacere essere qui a Udine e continuo in inglese. But yes, I think as we were discussing today, it was great to have a wonderful group of young enthusiastic students here from Udine looking at how you can mediate between different cultures. We learn in various disciplines the techniques and the technology of particular activities, and in international law we learn the norms and how you go about implementing those norms. But in creating agreements between countries, you need much more than just the technical ability. You need to be able to put yourselves in the shoes of the other person, and that's where I think these disciplines of intercultural studies and mediation between cultures are critical. If all you are is a good technical lawyer, for example, in our system, you will not achieve the desired result of an agreement between two countries, or sometimes between 196 countries if it's a multilateral treaty like the Arms Trade Treaty that I mentioned. You will not achieve that if there is not also that cultural sensitivity and ability to look beyond your own culture and understand how others are thinking and feeling, because despite everything, emotions remain an important part of international relations. So yes, it was good to see the students interested in the topic and also obviously highly attuned to the importance of the slightly less technical aspects of international negotiations. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think, the University of Udine, with the Partnership Studies group that I coordinate, has many international relations with different interdisciplinary fields, economics, law, literature, culture, languages that come together really in the optimistic standpoint that you gave to us today, that I found very important, very interesting, for somebody working in the field, having been working in the field for so long like yourself, that we need to tell our young people that we can do it, and that we have the means, the intelligence, and the sensitivity, as you were saying, to come forward, to help them, to help the world become a better place. And you mentioned a few examples. Maybe you would like to tackle one of those examples of your lecture today. I thought particularly interesting was your experience of the Malaysian airline incident. So maybe you can tell us a little about that.
Sure, of course. I mentioned three examples. One was about combating illegal fishing around the world. One was about negotiating the Arms Trade Treaty, and the other was about our response to the downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17, which of course tragically was brought down over eastern Ukraine on the 17th of July 2014. And in that context, my job was to go virtually immediately to Ukraine and negotiate what we call a status of forces agreement between Ukraine and Australia to enable our experts to be able to get into the area around the crash site to gain access to bring back the victims, but also to commence the recovery of evidence towards an investigation, both a technical investigation but also a criminal investigation, because accountability is so important for the international system. And it gets back to one of those themes that you were mentioning, that you need to believe that things can improve, that humanity can move forward rather than backward. And in this context, while it has not yet been possible to bring to justice those who are responsible for the downing of MH17, you need to have persistence, patience and belief that eventually you can achieve accountability, including for this particular international crime. And there I mentioned the example of the Lockerbie incident several decades ago, where a Pan American Airlines aircraft was brought down over Scotland by a terrorist bomb. And it took more than a decade before the individuals could be brought to justice, because geopolitically, at the time, it was simply very difficult. And that's what I mean by needing patience. I firmly believe that humanity can advance, but we need to have people who believe it can, and also have the patience to look at the long view and have the dream and have the passion and enthusiasm, but tempered also by the patience. Things can improve, and I gave given this is just the time around International Women's Day, I gave the example that 100 years ago it was considered utopian to fight for the right for women to vote. That what was then, and people were called utopian and unrealistic, it could never happen. But of course today that utopia is reality. And I believe that many of the things that today where we are accused of being utopian, just around the corner it can be the new reality. And we need enough people who can believe that and have the enthusiasm and the confidence and the belief to follow that dream.
Thank you. And His Excellency is certainly one of those people who have the enthusiasm, the intent to work for this goal. So thank you very much for being with us at the University of Udine, and we hope to welcome you here soon. Thank you.